The events described in the Bible carry profound spiritual significance and, surprisingly, align with modern scientific discoveries. Stories like Noah's flood, the destruction of Sodom, and the creation of the universe transcend faith alone. They find support in science that helps us understand the vastness of God's creation. Recognizing these connections doesn't diminish their religious importance. On the contrary, it highlights the divine power and wisdom at work in these events. For centuries, people thought science and faith were in opposition. However, as we'll see, these perspectives often complement each other in extraordinary ways. Natural phenomena and scientific evidence enhance the wonder of biblical miracles, encouraging us to explore their deeper purpose. God is the creator of all, and science often serves as a tool to reveal the magnificence of his work. This journey isn't just about ancient accounts. It's about understanding how the past continues to shape our faith today. By connecting biblical narratives with scientific discoveries, we uncover truths that deepen both our spiritual and intellectual understanding. Ready to explore how heaven and earth align in these extraordinary stories? Let's begin. The Bible remains the world's best-selling book, with an estimated 5 to 7 billion copies published. Its influence extends far beyond religious contexts, shaping literature, art, and even everyday language. Stories like Noah's Ark and David's triumph over Goliath have become cultural landmarks, resonating in films, music, and collective imagination worldwide. What makes these ancient texts so timeless? The Bible masterfully weaves universal themes of hope, resilience, and purpose into compelling narratives that connect deeply with human experience. Even those who don't follow its teachings often find its stories relatable and thought-provoking, proving the Bible's unparalleled reach. Whether through its moral lessons or historical depth, the Bible continues to inspire generations. It not only addresses spiritual questions, but also connects to broader cultural and intellectual discussions. Speaking of connections, some of these stories have scientific ties that make them even more intriguing. Let's explore one such example next. The story of Noah's flood is one of the most enduring accounts in the Bible, and scientific evidence gives it an intriguing context. Geological studies in the Black Sea region suggest a massive flood occurred around 7,500 years ago, transforming the landscape dramatically. Such an event would have been catastrophic enough to inspire the vivid imagery described in the biblical narrative. Marine fossils found in areas that were once dry land lend credibility to the idea of a sudden, large-scale flood. These discoveries suggest a natural disaster that could easily have been interpreted as divine intervention by ancient communities. Imagine the awe and fear such an event would evoke, passing down through generations as a powerful story of survival and faith. This connection between science and scripture offers a unique perspective on how human experiences shape spiritual teachings. If one regional flood could leave such a lasting impact, it's worth considering what other biblical events might hold scientific clues. Speaking of extraordinary phenomena, what about the infamous plagues of Egypt? The 10 plagues of Egypt, described as acts of divine intervention, may also have natural explanations rooted in environmental phenomena. Researchers suggest that climate shifts or volcanic activity could have triggered events like the Nile turning red, possibly due to algae blooms. This disruption in nature would naturally lead to the sequence of plagues, such as frogs, insects, and disease. Take, for example, the plague of darkness. Scientists propose it might have resulted from a massive sandstorm or volcanic ash cloud, possibly linked to the eruption of Santorini. While these explanations are rooted in science, they don't diminish the spiritual significance of the story. For those who witnessed these events, they would have been nothing short of miraculous. The alignment of natural events with the biblical timeline raises profound questions about divine orchestration. Could these occurrences have been part of a greater plan? The parting of the Red Sea, another iconic moment from Exodus, offers a similar blend of awe and scientific intrigue. Crossing the Red Sea on foot is one of the most dramatic moments in the Bible. Scientific studies propose that a phenomenon called wind setdown might explain how this could have occurred. Strong, sustained winds over shallow waters can temporarily expose land, creating a natural bridge, a remarkable event that aligns with the Exodus account. Research suggests this could have happened near Lake Tanis in Egypt, where such conditions are possible. Imagine the Israelites, desperate and fleeing from the Egyptian army, seeing the waters part just in time. Whether seen as a natural occurrence or divine intervention, the timing is undeniably extraordinary. This event showcases the harmony between science and faith, emphasizing how natural laws can serve God's purposes. It also invites us to consider other moments in Scripture where divine acts might intersect with observable phenomena, like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, a story with a cosmic twist. Have you ever wondered what really happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Scientists have investigated the destruction of these cities and uncovered something remarkable, evidence of a possible cosmic airburst. This occurs when an asteroid or meteor explodes in the atmosphere, releasing catastrophic energy. At Tal el-Hammam, a site believed by some to be Sodom, researchers found signs of extreme heat and sudden destruction. It's as if science is reconstructing the biblical account. The details are astonishing. The soil samples from Tal el-Hammam show materials that could only result from incredibly high temperatures, such as vitrified surfaces. This phenomenon, in biblical times, would have been interpreted as divine judgment. Imagine oral traditions passing down the terror and awe of such an event through generations. It's no wonder the story became so iconic. What's most intriguing is how these events connect science and faith. For some, the airburst theory is a fascinating explanation. For others, it's further proof of God's power. Either way, the story of Sodom reminds us of the profound impact cosmic events can have on Earth. And speaking of remarkable stories, did you know that the Tower of Babel might have a connection to an ancient Babylonian ziggurat? The story of the Tower of Babel is often seen as a profound reflection on human ambition and divine boundaries. Archaeological discoveries, such as a Babylonian tablet describing a massive ziggurat, suggest this structure may have inspired the biblical narrative. Picture a towering temple, so vast it seemed to reach the heavens. It's easy to understand how this image could capture the imagination of ancient communities. These towers, common in Mesopotamia, symbolized unity and human achievement. However, the story carries a deeper message. the limitations of humanity, and the challenges of communication. The confusion of languages might symbolize the fragmentation of cultures and enduring difficulties in human cooperation, themes still relevant today. Science contributes to this discussion through linguistic studies, revealing how languages have diversified over millennia. Far from being merely a tale of hubris, the Tower of Babel offers insights into cultural evolution and humanity's shared history. And speaking of enduring legacies, let's turn to the tale of David and Goliath, a story grounded in both faith and archaeology. David's triumph over Goliath is more than a story of faith. It's a tale steeped in strategy and historical context. Archaeological evidence from Gath, Goliath's hometown, reveals a culture of warriors and even oversized weapons. These findings suggest the legendary giant could have been inspired by real-life individuals with remarkable stature or cases of gigantism. David's victory wasn't solely about his courage. It was about skill and preparation. Modern studies show that a sling, in the hands of an expert, could deliver a stone with deadly force, comparable to a handgun. As a shepherd, David would have practiced daily, turning an ordinary tool into a lethal weapon. This story reminds us that faith and action go hand in hand. It also highlights how God can use the smallest and seemingly weakest among us to achieve great things. Speaking of beginnings, let's explore how science connects to the origins of humanity in the story of Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve, central to the Bible's creation narrative, finds an unexpected parallel in modern genetics. Research on mitochondrial Eve and Y-chromosome Adam suggests all humans share a common ancestry. While these individuals lived in different times and places, their existence reflects humanity's shared roots, echoing the biblical concept of a unified origin. Genetics tells a story of resilience and survival, revealing how early humans adapted and flourished. This scientific perspective complements the spiritual lessons of Adam and Eve, emphasizing the unity of all people under God's creation. It's a reminder of our interconnectedness, both biologically and spiritually. These insights encourage us to reflect on the deeper truths in the Bible. The story of Adam and Eve is not just about beginnings. It's about identity and purpose. And speaking of creation, there's an even grander narrative to explore: the origins of the universe itself. The Bible's account of creation in Genesis and the Big Bang Theory may seem worlds apart, but they share striking similarities. Both describe a singular, extraordinary event that marked the beginning of everything. The phrase, "Let there be light," resonates with the scientific understanding of the universe's initial burst of light and energy. According to the Big Bang Theory, the universe began around 13.8 billion years ago, expanding from an incredibly dense state. Genesis, on the other hand, speaks of divine order emerging from chaos. Both perspectives highlight a purposeful beginning, one emphasizing how it happened, the other focusing on why. This convergence invites us to see science and faith as complementary rather than conflicting. Together, they provide a richer understanding of creation, blending awe for the natural world with reverence for its creator. The question is, how will this knowledge transform the way we view our place in the universe? Now that you've explored the harmony between science and faith, how has it deepened your perspective? Do these scientific findings merely confirm biblical events, or do they magnify the grandeur of God's plan? Take a moment to reflect. The universe is far more interconnected and divine than we often realize. But knowledge alone isn't enough. It's what you do with it that matters. How can these insights strengthen your faith and guide your daily life? Perhaps it's time to revisit the Bible with renewed curiosity, seeing its stories as both spiritual truths and reflections of God's work in the world. Share these revelations with someone who might need a fresh perspective on their faith. If you've enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's so much more to uncover about the intersection of science, faith, and the Bible. May God bless you as you continue to grow in understanding and faith. See you in the next video.